This city is entirely composed of machinery. When danger approaches, the houses on both sides of the streets begin to retract and fold. As countless buildings are withdrawn, massive engines start up, and large amounts of black smoke billow out. All the houses begin to move, revealing that the giant London city has started its daily hunting operation. The small towns that were originally huddled together all began their own paths of escape. Only one small town's engine failed to start for a long time. As London City was about to close in, it finally started successfully. Seeing that the giant had already opened its devouring maw, the mayor spun the steering wheel hard. He managed to complete a U-turn just before being crushed by the massive gears. The small town sprinted across the ground like an ant. The residents of London City watched excitedly, cheering and shouting. After receiving orders from their commander, the drivers increased their power to give chase. A single tire track left by the small town was like a giant, deep pit. They dared not stop for a second, even as a large number of parts fell off. In order not to be caught, the mayor ordered the clearing of all stored table salt, but they still couldn't shake the pursuit of the giant London City. Just then, the mayor saw a huge valley, but halfway there, a gorge blocked the way. Fortunately, it was discovered in time, and the steering wheel was turned sharply, avoiding the risk of the entire town falling off the cliff. But this gave London City an opportunity to fire a large number of harpoons with chains. After hitting the target town, the giant opened its bloody mouth again. No matter how the town struggled, it was in vain. As mechanical arms plunged into the soil, the town was slowly dragged in. With the closing of the gates, they no longer had a chance to escape. At this time, the radio inside London City rang out, and everyone was arranged to walk out of the town. Useful items were manually picked away, and useless items were grabbed by mechanical arms and thrown into the furnace as fuel to provide a continuous source of power for London City. Then the Lord of London began to talk about the rules in the city, while Hester pulled out a dagger and began to approach.
Mother!
After Hester was pushed away, she wanted to strike again, but was pushed away by Tom. The two seemed to know each other. Tom was knocked to the ground while he was dazed. Seeing the guards surrounding them, Hester immediately turned and fled. In order to find out the truth, Tom began to chase. At this time, the small town was being separated by a huge cutting machine. Hester avoided them one by one with her flexible movement. Tom followed closely behind her. As they went deeper into the town, they were accompanied by even greater dangers. Just as Hester ran out of the decomposition room, she slammed the door shut. Seeing the crushing machine getting closer, the desperate Tom crashed through the door, only to find that the buildings behind this wall had already been demolished. Hester ran further and further, but she saw the Lord coming down in the elevator at the corner. With the exit blocked, she could only turn and run deeper. It turned out to be the city's waste treatment plant. In order not to be caught, Hester ignored the danger to her life and let go to jump down. But in the next second, she was caught by the arriving Tom. At this time, Hester told the truth, revealing that she was actually the Lord's daughter, but her mother was killed by the Lord. The scar on Hester's face was also left by the Lord. After speaking, Hester directly broke free and jumped down. When the Lord arrived, Tom asked about Hester's mother. Unexpectedly, the Lord kicked away the railing behind Tom and reached out to push Tom down directly. When Tom woke up, the two appeared at a giant chain track. They planned to go back the way they came. At night, a beam of light hit them, and the two thought they were saved. But unexpectedly, a harpoon was fired from the motorhome. Only then did they realize this was a trade wagon used to capture humans to be slaves. As they were about to climb to the top of the slope, Hester's lower leg was injured by a steel bar. Tom was about to be crushed by the wheels when he fell into a hole. It turned out to be a beetle hut, driven by an old couple. The old woman warmly received the two and arranged rooms for them to sleep. But when the door opened again, several burly men entered. The two were taken to the slave market for auction by the old couple. In the prison on the sea, there was a very special cell made of countless super titanium alloy boxes, which held the most terrifying and brutal machine in the world, Shrike. Even through the thick iron walls, it still couldn't block the chilling aura. Thaddeus reached a cooperation agreement with Shrike, stating that as long as Shrike solved a woman for him, he would help Shrike escape this alloy cage. After reaching the cooperation, Thaddeus piloted a helicopter and fired shells, first blowing up the sea platform and then blowing a gap in the cage. Seeing the exit right in front of him, Shrike stretched out his arms, his eyes glowing with an eerie and terrifying green light. At this time, the hunted Hester was being auctioned as a slave by the human traffickers. Just as Hester was successfully auctioned for $5, an Oriental woman offered $10. The auction house owner then pushed his luck and asked for $50. In the next second, Anna pulled out her gun and shot the auction house owner directly in the head. As more and more people gathered, it turned out that Anna and Hester knew each other. Hester also knew it was time to fight back. She picked up a handgun from the ground to help Tom break his handcuffs. A great chaos broke out at the scene, and all the motorhomes began to evacuate the area. Just as Hester and Tom didn't know which car to get on, a roar came from behind. Shrike had actually caught up so quickly. Seeing this, Hester immediately took Tom to flee for their lives, because she was raised by him as a child and knew Shrike's terror. The two climbed up the motorhome along the mechanical chains, but Shrike followed them up in the next second. He lightly leaped onto the platform. Just as Shrike approached Hester, he was blown away by a cannon blast. It turned out that Anna was piloting a spaceship to pick them up. When Hester climbed up, Anna was about to fly away directly. Fortunately, Hester dropped a rope in time, and Tom grabbed onto it. But in the last second before the rope left the platform, it was stepped on by Shrike. Shrike's feet clamped onto the platform, and his hands pulled the spaceship down with force. Then Anna threw a dagger for Hester to cut the rope. Hester threw it to Tom without hesitation. Seeing Shrike getting closer and closer, Tom cut the rope beneath him without hesitation. Just as Shrike was analyzing how to catch up with the flying machine, he happened to see a spaceship parked not far away. On the spaceship, Hester finally told the reason why Shrike was hunting her. When she was a child, her mother obtained the control system for the ancient ion cannon. Because her father wanted to build it to unify the world, her mother knocked him down to stop him and gave the chip key to Hester. While her mother was negligent, she was stabbed to death by her father. Hester stepped forward to stop him, but was slashed in the face by her father with a dagger. Afterwards, Hester escaped and was found and rescued by Shrike in the wilderness. The token her mother gave her was also picked up by Shrike. Because Hester could never move past the pain caused by her father, Shrike promised to take away Hester's pain. He made a small machine for her and wanted to help her reshape her body. By then, her body would be replaced by steel, her nerves would be made of wires, and her thoughts would be erased. Without all the pain, she would become free. But Hester hadn't avenged her mother yet, so she secretly ran away. Shrike felt that Hester had betrayed him, so he began a frantic pursuit. Everyone piloted the spaceship to the Sky City. While everyone was discussing countermeasures, the power suddenly went out. It turned out that Shrike had caught up. Dozens of guns fired at him continuously, but couldn't cause even a bit of damage. Someone tried to attack him up close, but was pressed directly into the dungeon. The Sky City exploded due to everyone's fighting. At this time, someone took out a timed bomb and threw it to a companion. The companion took the opportunity to throw it at Shrike's feet. Before he could react, a hole was blown under his feet, and he fell down. Little did they know that Shrike's ability was amazing, and in a short time, he caught up in front of Hester and Tom and broke through the iron sheet. Tom picked up a stick from the ground, but in the next second, he was grabbed by the neck and slammed to the ground by Shrike. Hester immediately stepped forward to beg for mercy. In order to make him spare Tom, Hester pleaded bitterly. At this time, Shrike understood. Hester loved the man on the ground, and that's why she saved him. Suddenly, the belief that supported Shrike's revenge collapsed. He knelt on the ground, took out the token Hester lost as a child, and returned it to her. He also released Hester's promise to him. Then he fell down under Hester's reluctant gaze. This is the last strictly guarded human position built in Tibet. There are countless cannons and various types of spaceships on the city walls. As they were about to arrive at Shango, the Medusa ion cannon rose above London City. Shango was also prepared, deploying all its combat power for a final battle. Under the command of the Lord of London, all electricity was drawn away. Medusa also locked onto the massive city wall of Shango. The subordinates immediately pressed the start button. The ion cannon emitted a beam of light with lightning that hit the huge city wall. Countless spaceships were instantly disintegrated. After everything returned to calm, it exploded again. Weapons were destroyed one by one, and civilians were also affected. While the people on London City cheered and jumped for joy, the Lord ordered charging again for the next shot. At this time, Hester saw the eyes on the statue in Shango, which were actually similar to the necklace in her hand. So after opening it, she found that this USB was the Medusa termination program that her mother risked her life to give her years ago. She found everyone and asked them to go to London City together to shut down Medusa. At this time in the air, they saw the people on the ground in a sea of fire and corpses. This made them realize even more that this trip would be fraught with difficulties. Then, the giant London City lost all its lights again.
They're gonna fire again!
Everyone began battle deployment. The spaceship Hester was in advanced at a low altitude, while the rest engaged in high-altitude combat to cover Hester's approach to London City. The opponent immediately opened fire upon discovery to intercept everyone, but none of those who came out to perform the mission were weak. While avoiding a large number of attacks, they didn't forget to strike back. At this time, a searchlight found the spaceship Hester was in. In the next second, it was crushed by a companion. But a companion was also targeted and killed by a machine gun. Everyone couldn't afford to be sad because they understood that if they couldn't complete the mission, they would also be destroyed. After several rounds of struggle, the woman's plane was hit. She knew she was certain to die, so she piloted the plane to crash directly into a main cannon to buy more time for everyone. Fortunately, the red spaceship did not disappoint and finally docked above London City to let Hester jump on secretly. But she was also quickly discovered by guards. Just as a soldier aimed at her, Anna solved it from above. Then she handed over the piloting authority to Tom while she went down to help Hester. Just as the Lord ordered to fire again, Anna arrived first. When she aimed her gun at the Lord, she was seen by his subordinates, who blocked the bullet for the Lord. The Lord immediately fired back. Anna couldn't dodge in time and was hit in the abdomen. The Lord confidently picked up a long sword from the ground and came to the top of the castle. Anna also drew her sword, and the two quickly fought together. Hester also took the opportunity to sneak into the control room. She took out the USB drive and tremblingly inserted it into the controller. Then, a string of passwords to shut down the system popped up. Anna saw that Hester was already shutting down the system. To buy more time, she accidentally gave the Lord an opportunity and was stabbed in the stomach with a dagger. In the last second before the Medusa ion cannon was about to fire, Hester finally entered the correct password and successfully shut down the launch of the ion cannon. When the Lord heard the sound of the system launch failure, he pushed Anna down directly. Because the energy accumulated by the ion cannon couldn't be released, the energy built up in the equipment began to melt. The Lord knew things were bad and actually let his subordinates kill everyone in the London City cockpit and destroyed all the braking systems. Then, he led his subordinates to escape in a spaceship. He actually wanted London City to crash into the last city wall of Shango. Learning of this, Tom resolutely piloted the spaceship into the engine room of London City. Just before the collision, he fired shells to destroy it. Then, he used the small size and flexibility of the spaceship to quickly shuttle out from above the engine. At this time, Hester also climbed onto the spaceship the Lord used to escape and found her enemy, her father. While he was playing the emotional card, Hester relaxed her guard and the handgun was taken away. Fortunately, Hester was no longer the little girl she used to be. After knocking down her father's gun, she took the dagger from her pocket and slashed his face. She avenged her disfigurement from years ago. Then she turned and leaped onto the spaceship Tom was piloting behind her. To prevent the Lord from escaping, Tom fired cannons and blew up the spaceship the Lord was on. The spaceship fell straight down. The Lord immediately went to the cockpit, where the pilot had already fallen unconscious. In the end, the spaceship still crashed, but the height of 100 meters was still hard to kill him. Just as the Lord was celebrating his good luck, London City still hadn't stopped. Instead, it drove straight toward him. He reaped what he sowed, as it happened to crush him without moving an inch further. London City finally stopped in front of the Shango city wall. This battle was a perfect success, and Hester and Tom lived a happy life.